All right. Thank you all for joining us today. Right now, we're going to get started with head coach Phil Neville.
Yeah. Morning, guys. Well, I think we're at the point where we wanted to be in terms of you go through pre-season really wanting this point where you're at the start of the season. This is where you have to then start earning your money. We feel as if we've had a really good pre-season, and I always compare it to the pre-season and preparation we had last season, where we had none. Yes, we had training sessions, but COVID was at the forefront of everybody's mind. We had games cancelled. We had scrimmages within each other, but we had no real test. I think this year we're going into the season where everybody's got major minutes. We've played MLS sides. We've played sides from the USL Championship, which has been a really good experience for us, and we obviously played the Peruvian side. So the players are going into the first game in this season against Chicago, and the one thing I can guarantee is that they are prepared physically, where last season they were probably well short going into that game. And you look at that first game last season against LA Galaxy, when we played really well in the last 30 minutes, they were the strong team and we were treading water. So preparation wise, our planning and preparation has gone really well. The trainings have gone really well in terms of the integration, and now it's time to get down to business. And I always think at the start of every season, whether I was a player or a coach, is that the excitement and the nervousness and the butterflies is because of the unknown. The unknown in terms of how you're going to play, how you're going to perform, how you're going to be as a team, where you're going to finish in the league. And sport is that good or that great. What makes it that great is that unknown, that uncertainty, is that we really don't know where, until that referee blows his whistle on Saturday at 6:08 and 32 seconds. We don't know where we're going to be or how we're going to be. We've prepared right. The team are in good shape, and let's hope they go out there and play with the freedom that we've asked of them all pre-season.
If you have a question, please raise your hand. We're going to get started with Lauren, then Michelle, then Mike.
Hi, Lauren.
Kind of just touched on it, but season kicks off on Saturday. The team's coming off a strong pre-season. Can you talk about the fans and how ready and excited this team is to come out on Saturday at Directly Stadium and play in front of the fans?
Yeah, I think that's the one thing that we've. I never forget that the first 10 days of pre-season, we had a new team, new players, and new staff, and the place, as if somebody had pressed the mute button on the remote control. There was no noise whatsoever in and around the training ground, because everyone was just getting to know each other and feeling each other out. And then we played the Peruvian side here, and regardless of the result, I came in at half time. The whole dressing room was alive because of the atmosphere, alive because they played in the stadium under the lights, alive because the fans behind the goal give them some excitement and what this club is all about. And from that game onwards has been building obviously to the start of the season. I think you look at the new strip, the new kit that we've got. It's exciting. I think it's one of the best kits I've seen, I've got to say. And the players just can't wait to get out there, and I know over the last 2 or 3 weeks there's been a massive effort from everybody within inside this football club to get the players out into the community. I was in the gym I think it was on my day off on Monday, and I turned the television on for morning breakfast show, and there was Campagna, there was Lowell, there was Lassiter, showing off the new kit, promoting into Miami within the community. And that was my vision at the start when I took over, is that it wasn't just on the pitch. We had to get out into the communities and build this football club together. And I think you'll see on Saturday with the turnout from the supporters, the best fans that they're right behind us.
Next question, Michelle, then Mike.
Okay. It's a two-part question, but it's kind of on the same topic. One is, do you have an update on Blaise, on his situation? I think he may have cleared waivers, so I don't know what the situation is with him. The roster's due tomorrow. And then secondly, sort of piggybacking on that topic, the mood of the locker room now versus last season. Can you just talk about that? Because last year at the start of the season, you guys were all saying that everyone was on board, everyone had the same DNA and all that stuff. And then as the season went on, it seemed like you felt otherwise, and there were some people weren't bought in. Can you just talk about the mood and also Blaise?
Yeah, well, Blaise has cleared waivers. He won't be on our roster this season. I've nothing but incredible things to say about Blaise. When I talk about last season, I've got to say that he was one of the players in the dressing room that I relied heavily on. His attitude. I used to always say he's a competitor. He's a competitor. He's a champion. He's won things. His standards were incredibly high, and we had to make a real tough decision to rebuild the squad, and he was part of that rebuild. So I wish Blaise all the best. He's up there with some of the most professional players that I've coached, but he won't be on our roster this year. In terms of where we're at this year and where we were last year, looking back, you think about the disappointments that we'd suffered in the first season, in our expansion first season, and they lingered into the second season, and I didn't probably realise the impact of that first season until we started to lose a few games. And it wasn't probably the LA Galaxy game, because after the LA Galaxy game, I think we drew in Nashville, and then we went to Philly and won. It was when we went on a couple of bad stretches, and you know, then you started to see the true characters and true personalities, and the hurt, and so almost like the remnants of the season before, of us not being successful, and the expectations of this club is to win. And then it got to the point where I felt as if team was so fragile, it couldn't take disappointment. It couldn't take a you know, in boxing terms, a punch on the chin. It would go down at the first bit of negativity. So we had to rebuild the squad. We had to rebuild the squad with the right personalities. And the challenge for this squad now is that they are unchallenged and unproven. We've got a lot of players in our team, in our roster, in our starting 11 on Saturday, that have got so much to prove in this league, and that makes it exciting, and I think that makes it also the nervousness of the unknown. The unknown is they've never been proven in this league. The excitement bit is that we're giving them a platform to go out there and develop and learn and perform. And from everything that I've seen in pre-season and in training, these players are ready for it.
Next question, Mike. Then we'll go to Franco.
Phil, if I can follow up on that, after the Peruvian side win, you said there's a lot more work to be done. Specifically, what did you learn about your club in that Carolina Challenge Cup that makes you believe that you are 100% ready for the opener on Saturday?
Yeah, do you remember the term that I used after that game? We've got a shitload of work to do, and I've told them that every single day. When we were celebrating in South Carolina the other day, I still told them the same, because, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. It takes time to get the foundations really, really solid. And every day we've seen a little bit more. And I'm sure on Saturday we're not gonna see the finished article, because we're only 3-4 weeks. And you think about like Robert Taylor, only back in the country today. Not really. He's had 4 or 5 days training with us. So there's another piece of the jigsaw that needs to be cemented in, another brick that needs to be cemented into the wall. And we've got a couple of players coming back from injury this week that are just being cemented into the wall as well. So you're not going to probably see the finished article this Saturday, this weekend. But what I think you'll see this weekend, you'll see the remnants of a real good footballing team, or someone that has a clear identity. And that's what I say to them every single day. We trained yesterday really well, and at the end of the session I said we've still got to keep improving on the bits that we need to keep improving on. And they're a team that are so hungry and thirsty for improvement and to get better, that it's a real privilege to coach them.
If I can follow up, 10 new players this season, and I remember at points last season you were visibly upset at the loss, but it wasn't so much about the loss. And just to piggyback on that, you have said this team is not about individuals. This is about a team. Was it your determination, for lack of better terminology, crack the whip and weed some of these players out that just wouldn't buy into the team concept? Yeah,
it's as simple as that, because we are going to win, lose and draw games this year. There's nothing as more guaranteed in life than that. But there's a certain way that you want to lose games. There's certain characters that you want to have in your team that mean that you will never give up. And there was times last year where we scored late on, where we kept going right to the final whistle. There was remnants of a team last year, but there was too many individuals. And when you have too many talented individuals that don't want to play a part in a team, you're in serious trouble as a coach. And what me and Chris Henderson decided is that we was going to get a proper team together. We're going to get the characteristics of a team, you know, and to put that jigsaw together took a lot of expertise from Chris and from the recruitment team, and a lot of hard work in terms of the work that we had to do to bring the right people and to put them on the pitch with us. And I feel now, is that as a coach, these are the players that I've chosen. These are my boys, and these are the boys that are going to go this season and be competitive in this league. And that as a coach is all you want, is that these are the players that I've chosen. These are the players that I've chosen to do the stuff that I want them to do. And I've got to live and die by that. And as a coach, that's all you can ask for. You want the backing of your ownership, which I have. You want the backing and expertise around you, is what I have in Chris Henderson and the recruitment team. And then we pool all that together, and hopefully you get a good team to go with it.
Next question from Franco, then we go to Steve, then Jose. Franco? No, Mike, no.
Do you want a mic, Franco?
No.
He wants the stage, Michelle, doesn't he?
He wants to be loud, he wants to be heard.
Just two quickies for you. One's on Nick Marsman. He's resumed some physical activity. I know you said he was on track a couple weeks ago, but just what his overall status is now heading into this season. And the second one, yesterday you guys traded for an international roster slot. What can you tell us about the plans for that? A lot of people, obviously on the outside, myself included, think it could be for Harvey.
Yeah, well, the first question is that Nick is on schedule, but the schedule was never to be fit for the first game of the season. I think he's doing a lot of things. I think the club put something out the other day of him diving around and kicking balls, and he's now out on the grass every single day working with the goalkeeping unit. So he's on schedule. I think if we see any action from him in March, I think we're going to be lucky. So I think the first 3 or 4 games of the season, because he's had a real serious injury, and we want to make sure that we get him back for the marathon and not just the first sprint. So we're going to take it really cautiously with Nick, but he's pushing every single day to be back. He wanted to be back for the first game of the season, the second game of the season at Austin or LAFC. So don't be surprised if he does play in March, but I think in terms of a timeline, you know, the next 3 or 4 games I think are going to be a real tough ask for him to be back. In terms of the international spot, I think with this league and the process and the rules in this league, it's always good to have something up your sleeve if you need something before the window shuts. The international card will not be played, will not be used on Harvey. We're going through a green card process at the minute. I think we're close to it. You know, we're 3-4 weeks away. COVID is really difficult because most embassies have slowed down, and I've got to say the boy is literally like every single day. And you can imagine living with it every single day, wanting that green card, because it means that he can become an MLS player, which is what he will be. But at this moment in time, that's the frustration. One, that we can't have him on our roster at this moment in time permanently as an MLS player, and two, the fact that he's an international player. And international players, there's always so many slots. So that international. What do we call it? A card or
international roster spot?
International roster spot is something that we've acquired for the right moment, for the right movement.
Next question, Steve and Jose.
Phil, I read in a piece with Franco this week about you said this is not a normal club. I think we know what you mean. Just for people that are readers or whatever, just explain what you meant by that.
Yeah, well, I think you know. When you talk about Inter Miami, you talk about the ownership. They want to do things, I'd say, bigger and better and different than everybody else. You know, the kit is a prime example of something that's not just in the norm of of everyone else in this league. So we want to be different. We want to do things. We want to stick our heads above the parapet. We want to be. Globally a football club. We want to have a brilliant brand. Our social media content is phenomenal, and sometimes I say we're putting too much out there, people know too much about us, but that is what being involved in this club is all about. That's how you build a brand, that's how you build a fan base, that's how you sell sponsorship season tickets, And you know, I was probably a part of a club that was probably the pioneers at growing the brand in Manchester United. So I understand fully what that means, and we have the best. We have the best commercial, media, marketing people, I think, that I've ever worked with. So we're really proud of that, and that is what this club is, part of this club. And you know, we'll always be there to be shot at, we'll always be there to be criticised, but it's also where we want to be. So when I say that this club is different, it's different because we want to be pioneers, we want to be world leading, we want to be a global brand, and we want to be the best club in the world. And to do that, you take risk and you do things different than everybody else. And you know, we have a saying in England where, do you want to go to Blackpool on your holidays, or do you want to go to the moon? I think this football club wants to go to the moon, and you know, and that's no disrespectful to Blackpool, but because I went to Blackpool on my holidays. It's La Sol, you know, I don't know. So.
We'll do the last two questions with Jose, and then...
He's trying to wrap it up now.
Last two questions with Jose, and then Ian.
You knew what I meant, though. You knew what I meant.
Phil, I have two questions for you. First one on Shaqiri, of course, you know, big signing for them, but at least you don't have a lot of the simple sides of what he's going to do with the Chicago Fire. How do you prepare for that? And the second one, Noah Allen, I wanted to ask you what you've seen from him during preseason, if you think he's ready to contribute at some point with the first team.
Yeah, I mean, with the new MLS2 league, it means that we can call up MLS2 players for a certain amount of periods in the season, certain amount of time. So it gives us great flexibility for players like Noah Allen, and we've got a talented bunch there. So that gives us great flexibility, and I'm really pleased with Noah's development. He knows what we think of him. In terms of Shaqiri, we're really lucky. We've got Ryan Shawcross that played with him at Stoke for a long time. So I've watched him a lot in international football and in the Premier League. Without doubt, got great quality, and you know, he's only been in Chicago, I think, a week, so there'll be that adaptation period. But I always think that, you know, the first game of a season is where the DPs tend to step up. So we've got to make sure that we keep him quiet on Saturday. He will want to make his mark. Without a shadow of a doubt, he's got a wand of a left foot. I saw that many occasions in the Premier League. So, but we're really focusing on us. I've got to say, I know it's probably a boring thing to say. We're focusing on us and what we are doing, and concentrating on how we perform. And if we perform to our best, we've got a great chance of winning the game.
Go ahead, Ian.
Hey Phil, how are you?
Hi.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
This is a nice way to, I guess, maybe piggyback off that and finish things. You have probably seen a lot of the preseason previews and
Yeah,
rankings.
they're up on the wall. They're up on my wall.
So how do you use that as like motivation for what you might want to see? Do you talk to the guys about it? Do you use that as a chip on your shoulder? Is it? And then also you mentioned the MLS Next Pro League that's starting now. The rebrand just came out right before you walked in.
Yeah.
What are your feelings about that? The roster construction and how that looks.
That was about 5 questions, that, wasn't it? I
I'm trying to keep it
Michelle, what are you thinking there, Michelle?
She's teaching me well.
She asked you to ask 2 of them questions.
3 or 4 hard questions to follow up.
Right, I'll think my memory is good enough. So, I love the MLS 2 thing. The rebranding of the name, I think, is important. I did used to love the USL though. I've got to say, I think that was a brilliant environment for players to really test themselves in difficult environments against grown-up professionals with the savvy, the knowledge that it brings. It took me back to my day when I was growing up in the sort of like 16 to 18. We used to have this A and B team league where it was grown men and they kicked lumps out of you, and they didn't care whether you played for Manchester United or Bury or Rochdale. So I loved the USL where they used to, you know, drive on a bus 9 hours to Tormenta or to Arizona, where it was really character building. And I found that it brought our players on a lot. And I think this MLS next gen competition, they're going to be playing in the stadiums of the teams, most of them, majority, against the best probably young players in the country. So I think that again is another great thing, and we really think it's a really good idea that there's now a real pathway between the two, where there is opportunities now for certain times in the year or certain periods where you can bring people up and down, you know, and obviously they've not published the rules yet, and it's not 100%, but there's clear distinction now that you can bring players up and down, which I'm sure you'll hear about over the next month or two. So it's important that we're a part of that. It's important for our academy players now, who we think a lot of. Think about the team that played against in the second half against Charleston last Tuesday or Wednesday. Tuesday, yeah. Those players are our future, and we want to bring as many of those through, and want to give them as many opportunities as we can. And what was
The rankings.
pre-season previews by all the journalists that have wrote us off and just put them at the bottom of the Eastern Conference, which you know, you've got jobs to do. Part of our motivation, you know, you think about that siege mentality, you think about proving people wrong. It takes a lot of the pressure off us in terms of everybody else's expectations, and it means that we can just be under the radar and just look after ourselves and make sure that we just keep concentrating ourselves. It was a big thing first day of pre-season. I said to my staff, I want us to focus on us. Don't worry about other teams above us or below us or points. If we just focus on ourselves and get our ship in order, then that's the best way to be. And you know, I think it seems like we've done a lot of talking. I feel as if I've done a lot of talking in pre-season. I feel as if now we're just got to get down to business and start what is going to be a fantastic season in the MLS. I think it'll be even better than last year. You think about the quality of the teams, the quality of the DPs, the investment is getting absolutely better and better. And you're now in these press conferences and the MLS, you're getting worldwide attention, and that shows how much this league is growing. And you know, somebody said to me the other day about the longevity in this league. I want to be in this league for as long as possible. I think I see the quality of the coaches, I see the quality of the football, I see the quality of the stadiums. You know, there's no better place to be, and I'm immensely proud to be part of the MLS.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Now we're going to be joined by midfielder Gregor.
Blackpool's a nice place. We went there